Okay, this is another short little talk. It's called the Michelson Morley Experiment Cover-Up. Usually there are two sides to what happens, i.e. there's two sides to a story. In the case of the Michelson Morley experiment, the educators only want to teach physics students one side of the story, i.e. the side that supports Einstein's relativity. Thus they miss out the other side of the story, and that is what the Michelson Morley cover-up is. The educators are biased in what they teach. We find that a lot in Western society. There is a bias to only communicate one side. So this cartoon highlights the problem. The man is reading a newspaper, suddenly decides the newspaper is smaller, and the other person tells him, "Of course, dear, they used to publish both sides." So the paper is only publishing one side of the story. And in physics, they've been only teaching to students part of the story for a very long time. They don't give the full story because it gets too complicated. The relevant thing I will be referring to is this article from the 21st Century Science and Technology, published in spring 1998. The article there is by Maurice Alice. This is what Wikipedia has to say about him. He was a French physicist and economist, the 1988 winner of the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Science. The relevant bit about relativity and Alice Wikipedia gives is the following. It says, besides his career in economics, he performed experiments between 1952 and 1960 in the fields of gravitation, special relativity and electromagnetism to investigate possible links between the fields, and he reported three effects. So the conclusion that Maurice reaches in the article I'm referring to, he says, the very basis of the special and general relativity theory rests on a triple postulate: the reputedly negative result of Michelson's experiment, the invariance of the speed of light in all directions, and the impossibility of detecting the absolute motion of the Earth through any purely terrestrial experiment. However, with regard to the analysis above, it is certain that it is impossible to maintain that interferometric experiment provides a negative outcome, that the velocity of the light is invariant in all directions, and that any purely terrestrial experiment cannot determine the motion of translation of the Earth. In other words, he reaches the opposite conclusion to what the promoters of Einstein's relativity say. Hence there is a cover-up, where they, the promoters of Einstein's relativity, don't want to mention the disagreement with what they say. The physics establishment does not want to publish both sides of the story. They don't want to mention it to the physics students that they are teaching, that there is disagreement with the claims that they are making about experiments such as the Michelson Morley experiment. So that's the end of this short little talk. Thank you. I'm just highlighting this cover up.